Hi, my name is Megan, and this is Everything Lit. And today, I need to turn my fan off. Today, I'm bringing you my August TBR. It is chonky because I am competing? I am participating in not one, but two readathons. Taylor Swift shirt. It is very large, but I went to the Detroit Night One show in June and she played Haunted and I Almost Do as her surprise songs from Speak Now and Red. It was wonderful. It was amazing. I've been to a lot of concerts, but like she puts on a show. It is a spectacle. The two readathons that I am participating in are the trope-ical readathon, and I am going to be joining Team Fantasy this time. Usually I'm Team Romance, but I want to do fantasy. The prompts look more up my alley, and I'm feeling fantasy lately. And, of course, the magical readathon, Autumn Equinox at Aurelium. Very excited. I have been doing the magical readathon for years now. Before I was ever doing videos, I was just following along for fun, and it is so imaginative and so detailed. I just love it. I've got a stack of I think like 17 books that I'm going to try to get through in the month of August. The magical readathon we earned by participating in the April version. We earned 3 extra days. So I will actually be starting the magical readathon on July, that's the month we're in, July 29th. And then I can't start the trope-ical readathon until August 1st. And there are books on here that fit prompts for both readathons, but the first 2 are just for the magical readathon. For the magical readathon, I want to be a moon warden. That means I have to read at least 6 books. And then there's an extra challenge where you're summoning implings, so that's another book. So 7 books for the magical readathon, and then 16 books for the trope-ical readathon. Now, those 16 are gonna fulfill some of my prompts for the magical readathon, but not all of them. So first of all, for elemental studies on the magical readathon, I need to read a book with Earth in the title, and for that, I'm going to read A Snake Falls to Earth by Darcy Little Badger. I don't really know what this is about other than I really like Darcy Little Badger's first book, and this is maybe a retelling or a reimagining of an Apache legend story. I don't know, but it sounds good. It's got Earth in the title, so I'm gonna be reading it and then I'll have more to tell you. So that's for elemental studies. I only have to read 1 book and get O for that because there are 3 levels for the magical readathon, O, Q, and D. And then for spells and incantations, I also only need to achieve that first level, which is to read a manga, comic, or graphic novel. So I am finally gonna catch up on Fence. This is volume 5 of this series. I read the other 4. I need to read this one, get caught up, because I think 6 is coming out in January. And this is about a fencing team, and Nicholas fights this guy, and then they both get accepted into the same academy, and so they've got beef, but they're also roommates. The tension. And then they get to know their team and everyone else, and it's just really good sports, slow burn graphic novel. And this is by C.S. Pacat, who I adore, and the illustrator and other writer are Joanna the Mad and Joanna La Fuente. So 2 Joannas and C.S. Pacat. And then for the trope-ical readathon, the prompt Love Triangle, I'm going to be reading Cool for the Summer by Dahlia Adler. I have waited literal years for this to come out in softcover. I should have just read it in hardcover. What am I doing? But I got the soft cover. Don't love this cover as much either. Not gonna lie, a little salty. But this is about a girl who kind of has a summer fling with another girl, and then when they go back to school, she has a crush on this boy, and she's had a crush on him for a long while. So she's like finally getting to know him, getting to flirt with him, but then this girl that she had the summer fling with shows back up at school, and she kind of has to decide like which one. And I've heard it's cute and a good exploration of bisexuality. And honestly, it was so hard to pick books for these prompts because I just want to read everything right now. And there are so many options to narrow it down to one right now, when in 2 weeks I might want to read something else, difficult, but this is the plan. Might I deviate? Possibly. For the Tropical Readathon prompt, a 2023 release, I'm going to be reading Camp Sylvania by Julie Murphy. This is about a fat camp that is run by vampires. It sounds super fun. I love Julie Murphy, and it's giving summer camp, August, perfect timing. It's giving fantasy, vampires, friendship, love it. Not only fat kids, but fat kids becoming confident in themselves. Chef's kiss. I'm kind of skipping all over here with the prompts, but one of the fantasy team specific prompts is to read a book with a portal fantasy, and for that I'm going to be reading Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shauna McGuire. This is the third in the Wayward Children series. This follows, I believe it's a character we've already met, Rinny, and as far as I know, this one takes place at Eleanor West's home. Another Tropical Readathon prompt is a comfort read, and for that I will be reading Cheddar Late Than Dead by Linda Riley. This is the third in a cozy mystery series that I started reading all this year, I think, or maybe I read the first one last year, but it is about a grilled cheese shop owner who stumbles across murders. The first two books were really enjoyable, a good cozy, and in this one it seems like there is a wedding that she is going to be catering, and then something happens. It's a murder probably. And this feels pretty thick for a cozy, but I'm excited to hop back into this world. This is definitely a comfort read. One of the first cozy mysteries I picked up, and one of my favorites still. And then for the Tropical Readathon, these are all Tropical Readathon prompts. We'll hop back into the Magical Readathon at the end, okay? For genre you don't usually read, I am going to read Bonds of Brass by Emily Skrutsky. This is sci-fi, and I don't typically read sci-fi because I was like racking my brain. What is a genre that I don't read a lot? Because I feel like I'm all over the place. I read literary, I read thrillers, I read cozies, I read fantasy, I read romance. What is the one I don't read? It's sci-fi. This is about two boys who are friends, and they are pilots at this military academy, and one of their classmates tries to assassinate this friend, and they find out he is the heir. He is the prince to this empire. So our main character saves his best friend, the prince, and then they are on the run. So it sounds actiony. I've heard good things about it. I don't know when the second one comes out, but I think it's soon. So I'll be caught up and able to get the second one. And then for the prompt cover by book, I am going to read Sea Change by Gina Chung. This, I literally was walking around the bookstore and I looked over and I saw this octopus. And I saw it was like a buy one, get one 50% off. And I was like, let me go read the first page of that, because the cover is gorgeous. I love a sea creature moment. First page drew me in, so I bought it. And here we are. I'm going to read this for a cover by. And this is about a girl who has just entered her 30s. Her best friend, quote unquote, is Dolores, a giant Pacific octopus, at the mall aquarium where she works. Apparently when Dolores, the octopus, is sold to a wealthy investor who is going to move her to a private aquarium, Ro finds herself on the precipice of self-destruction. So I think this might be pretty emotionally charged. I might change my mind about the cover by, I don't know, because I bought this because of the cover, but there are just so many beautiful books that I could read that if this is too emotional or boring, I might switch it out. For a book with revenge in it, or a revenge plot, I am finally going to read Sadie by Courtney Summers. I have heard nothing but good things about this. Everyone who reads it loves it. So this follows a podcaster, I believe, who is trying to find a runaway named Sadie, and she is trying to avenge her sister's murder. And all of this comes together where the podcaster is trying to find her and she's trying to avenge her sister, and it sounds very high stakes. And then this prompt is either bookish themes or a book with a pun in the title. I have so many cozies with puns in the title, but you know what, I'm going with bookish, and I want to read The Book Charmer by Karen Hawkins. This is about a librarian in a small town who believes that books whisper to her, and tell her of the arrival of a girl named Grace Wheeler. I think this may have some like Saving a Small Town vibes, but also books. And then for the prompt retelling, I'm going to read A Mirror Mended by Alex E. Haro. This is the second book in the Fractured Fables series. The first one was A Spindle Splintered. This is kind of a multiverse story about fairy tales, where fairy tales happen across the multiverse, but with different variations. And the first one I really enjoyed. I was surprised by how much I liked it, and I am excited to continue the series. And then if a third one's coming out, maybe I can pick that up during the 50% off hardcover sale in December. Just planning ahead, you know? For the prompt, a book by more than one author or book with more than one author, I am going to read Hello Girls by Brittany Cavallaro and Emily Henry. This is YA, and I believe it is like a Thelma and Louise dark. These girls like run away together, and it says they go from Michigan to Las Vegas, and it sounds like a road trip story, an escape story, maybe a little dark, a little funny. I have heard mixed reviews on this, but I've had it for a couple years, and it's time. It's got 2 authors, and it's beautiful. It sounds fun. It sounds summery, so we're going for it. And then for the prompt food themes, I'm going to read 6 Feet Deep Dish by Mindy Quigley. This is a cozy mystery about Delilah, who is opening a deep dish pizzeria in Wisconsin, and her fiance dumps her on opening night and leaves her with their chonky cat, and just, it sounds so fun. And then she discovers a dead body, of course. And then for the prompt, a book in a series, I am going to read Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. This is about a princess who is on the run, and I believe there's a prince following her and an assassin. And I think from the points of view, like, we don't know who is who. And hopefully it'll be a good time. And then this is also going to fit for the magical readathon prompt. For Q is read from a finished series. This is a finished series. The trilogy is complete. And finally, one of the prompts for the trope-ical readathon is a book with multiple timelines. And for that, I will be reading People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is a summary book, and it is about 2 friends who have been going on vacation once a year, every year for the last, a long while. And then they fell out from each other 2 years ago. They're not really friends anymore until they go on one final hurrah and try and fix their relationship. And I was Googling books with multiple timelines, and this came up as one of them. So I think that we follow the before they have their falling out, and then we're in the current timeline afterwards. And then one of the books I don't own, but is a team book for fantasy, is The Deep by Rivers Solomon. And I might buy that. I have it on hold from my library, but if that doesn't come in first, I might just buy it. It's not a very big book. And then the fantasy prompt, so there are 2 team prompts. One was Portal Fantasy, which I'm reading Beneath the Sugar Sky, and the other one was read a book with a non-human main character. And this one I found a little difficult because I don't read a lot of stories with like animals as the main character, and a lot of the lists that I was finding was like Watership Down and Animal Farm, and I was like, I don't want to read those right now. So I am going to read In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune, and I don't know much about this. I know that there is almost like a Roomba type robot that is the main character, so that is a non-human main character. And then there are like 2 or 3 other robots that they live with and a human. And it's kind of a little found family story, and then they maybe go on an adventure. It sounds adorable. It's probably going to make me cry because it's TJ Klune. And this also fits for the magical readathon prompt, the bonus prompt of summoning an impling, because it has to meet like 5 different standards. So it is an author I've read from before. It is between 400 and 450 pages. There is blue on the cover. I will fight. I will fight. There's blue on the cover. It's on the little house. That's blue. And up here, that's blue. Fight me. It's blue. And then one of the other prompts has the same letter in the title twice. and this is specific, it has to be only twice, so I'm going to use the S's for this. In the lives, S of puppets. There are 2 S's and only 2 S's, so it counts. And then I will have to start this book at night. That's kind of a freebie. So as long as I start it at night, we're good. And then there are a few other prompts for the magical readathon that I'm kind of just leaving open for now. The one for astronomy, the O that I need to do is I need to find a book with a word in the title from the name of the last song that I listened to. I haven't decided if I'm going to do like the last song I listened to on the 29th to pick it, or if I should just like do it now and insert that clip later. I don't know. For restoration, I need to do 2 prompts, but they are both timed. So one is to start a book before bed. So I can really pick any of my trope-ical readathon books. As long as I start it before bed, I'm good. And then the other one is to read a book in a different spot each time you pick it up. That one I'm a little worried about because my house ain't that big, but I'm thinking A Mirror Mended, because it's so thin, I will read that in a different spot each time I pick it up. And that's all of the books that I plan to read in August. Wish me luck. Comment down below. Let me know if you're going to join the magical readathon. We can be buddies. So if you like this video, you want to see if I actually read all of these books, you could like this video, you could subscribe, but really, you can do whatever you want. And I'll see you next time.